There comes a moment in every life when the weight of doubt presses against the chest like a stone, when the voices of the world whisper louder than our own, and the reflection staring back at us in the mirror feels unfamiliar, almost fragile. In that silence, there is a question that calls out, not from the outside, but from within. Do you believe in yourself? For many, the answer is hesitant. For some, it is buried under years of rejection, failure, or fear. Yet the truth remains unshaken, no matter the storms of life, no matter the judgments of others. The foundation of every great transformation is belief in one's own existence, one's own worth, one's own power. Believing in yourself is not about arrogance, nor is it a denial of weakness. It is the courage to face your shadow, to embrace the unseen potential within you, and to step into the light of your own possibility. Today, I want to share with you 3 truths about what it means to believe in yourself and why it matters not just for your life, but for the lives you touch. Belief begins where doubt is confronted, not ignored. And this is the first truth that so many of us misunderstand. We are taught to see doubt as an enemy, as a dark cloud that must be banished before we can walk forward. Yet in reality, doubt is not here to destroy you. It is here to test you. It is the gatekeeper that stands between you and the life you long for. Each time you set your eyes on a dream, each time you decide to take a step into the unknown, the gatekeeper appears and asks, do you truly want this path? Do you know who you are? Are you willing to endure the discomfort of growth? Those who retreat at the sight of this figure live in the shadow of their potential. Those who confront it, who dare to answer with courage, begin the real journey of self-belief. Think of what it must have been like for Thomas Edison, who, before the world called him a genius, was a man surrounded by the ruins of failed experiments. Thousands of attempts, one after another, wires melting, filaments breaking, people around him whispering that he was wasting his life. Doubt was not a distant concept for him, it was a companion he saw every single day. And yet, when asked how he endured so many failures, he said, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. Can you imagine what it means to hold on to your vision so strongly that even failure becomes proof of progress? That is not the absence of doubt. It is the strength to answer doubt with persistence. That is the kind of belief that reshapes history. In our own lives, the gatekeeper of doubt wears many disguises. For some, it whispers, you are too old to start over. For others, it sneers, you are too young, too inexperienced. Who are you to think you could achieve this? It might echo through your mind in the form of your past mistakes, reminding you of the times you tried and fell short. It may even take the voice of someone you love, someone who told you that you were not capable, and replay that memory until you begin to believe it yourself. But these voices are not prophecies, they are questions waiting for your response. They are not a final verdict on your worth, but invitations to rise. When you answer back, when you look at the doubt and say, I may not have all the answers, but I am still worthy. I may stumble, but I will not stop. You begin to cross the threshold. You realize that doubt is not the wall, it is the doorway. Without it, there is no growth. Without it, there is no strength. Imagine a life where everything came easily, where no resistance ever challenged you. Would you ever discover how powerful you truly are? Doubt gives you that chance. Let me give you something closer to home, something you might have seen in your own community. Picture a young woman working 2 jobs, exhausted, barely making ends meet, yet harboring a dream to start her own business. Every practical thought in her mind says, it's too risky. You don't have the resources, you'll fail. Friends remind her of the statistics. How many small businesses close within the first year? The doubt is overwhelming, pressing down on her like a weight on her chest. But one day she makes a choice. She begins small. She sets aside a little money. She studies. She works late into the night, and slowly, that seed of belief grows. She launches her business, and it doesn't flourish overnight, but with time and persistence, it begins to thrive. Her story is not about never feeling doubt. It is about answering doubt with action. The truth is, you cannot control when doubt appears, but you can control how you respond. Some of the most extraordinary transformations in life happen when people choose to walk forward even as their hands tremble. Belief is not an emotion that appears fully formed. It is a decision you make daily. It is the whisper that says, I will try again today. And each time you make that choice, the gatekeeper steps aside a little further until the path ahead is no longer blocked but open. So, when you hear the voice of doubt rise within you, do not curse it and do not run from it. See it for what it is, the test that precedes every breakthrough. Remember Edison, who transformed failure into fuel. Remember the countless men and women who, in the face of rejection and uncertainty, still chose to step forward. Let their courage remind you that doubt is not your downfall. It is your invitation to grow into the person you were meant to become. We often grow up believing that confidence and belief in ourselves must come from the recognition of others. We are told that if enough people approve of us, if enough people applaud our efforts, then we will finally feel worthy. But the truth is, the deepest source of belief does not come from applause, nor from the validation of the world. It comes from the unseen depths of your own being, the silent reservoir of strength and wisdom that exists beyond your conscious awareness. Every dream, every spark of inspiration, every quiet nudge that tells you to take a step forward, that is not an accident. That is your inner life speaking, urging you toward what you are meant to become. It is here, in the realm of the unconscious, that true belief is born. Because the mind you see on the surface, the one that plans, calculates, and compares, can often be deceived by the world's noise. But beneath it lies another voice, softer, quieter, but infinitely wiser. It is the voice that shows up in your intuition, the one that tells you to trust a path even when logic cannot explain why. It is the voice that comes in dreams, weaving symbols and stories that seem strange but hold truths about who you are and what you desire. Too often we dismiss this voice, labeling it as fantasy, when in fact it is the wellspring of self-belief. Consider the life of Oprah Winfrey, a woman who endured poverty, rejection, and deep wounds in her youth. The voices around her did not affirm her. Many said she would never amount to anything, that her past had already sealed her future. But she chose to listen to something else, not the harsh judgments outside, but the whisper within that said, "You are more than what they see. You are more than what has happened to you." That whisper became her compass. And as she followed it, step by step, the world began to recognize what she had already known inside. Her belief did not begin with fame. It began with trust in the hidden wisdom of her own being. Every one of us carries that same whisper, yet most of us drown it out with the noise of modern life. We scroll through endless feeds comparing ourselves to strangers. We seek approval from friends, parents, or colleagues, forgetting that no external voice can ever define our true value. And when the inner whisper does rise, telling us to create, to change, to step into something greater, we dismiss it. We tell ourselves it's unrealistic, that it's only a dream. But belief in yourself begins when you stop dismissing that inner whisper and start honoring it. Think about Albert Einstein. Before he became the symbol of genius, he was a young man struggling in school, mocked by teachers who believed he would never succeed. On the surface, he seemed unremarkable. Yet deep inside, he trusted his own way of seeing the world, even when it clashed with convention. He allowed his inner vision to guide him, and eventually that vision reshaped the very fabric of science. If he had silenced that inner voice and conformed to the expectations placed on him, the world might never have known the theory of relativity. His story reveals a truth the mirror of the unconscious often sees more clearly than the eyes of the crowd. In your own life, there are times when you felt this. A moment when something inside told you not to take that job, not to trust that relationship, or perhaps to leap into an opportunity others couldn't see. And later, you realized the inner voice had been right. That is the wisdom of the deeper self, the mirror reflecting not who the world thinks you are, but who you truly are. To believe in yourself is to believe in that mirror. even when it reflects a version of you that feels larger, braver, and stronger than you think you can be. Belief, then, is not about proving yourself to the world. It is about listening inwardly, even when outward circumstances scream otherwise. When you choose to trust that inner current, you begin to unlock possibilities that no external validation could ever grant you. The more you listen, the stronger the voice becomes. And slowly, you realize that the foundation of self-belief is not built on applause, but on the quiet, unshakable certainty that your life holds meaning, that your voice matters, and that the unseen depths of your being are guiding you toward your true destiny. Belief in yourself is never a solitary act. It may begin within you, as a private decision, a quiet whisper of courage in the middle of the night, but its impact always ripples outward. The way you carry yourself, the way you rise after setbacks, the way you dare to stand tall when the world expects you to shrink, all of this becomes a signal to others. When you choose to believe in yourself, you are not only transforming your own destiny, you are planting the seed of possibility in the minds of those who witness your journey. Imagine the story of Malala Yousafzai, a young girl in Pakistan who believed in something as simple and as profound as her right to an education. Her world told her she was unworthy of learning, that her voice had no place in shaping her own future. And when she defied those voices, when she chose to believe in her own worth, she was attacked and nearly silenced. Yet even in that moment, when most would retreat into fear, her belief did not shatter. It strengthened. Today, her courage has ignited a global movement for the education of girls. What began as one young girl's quiet conviction has rippled across continents, inspiring millions. This is the power of self-belief. It never stays contained. You might think your own life is far removed from such extraordinary stories, but the principle remains the same. Think of a parent who decides to return to school at 40 after years of believing it was too late. Their decision is not just about a degree. It is about showing their children that growth never ends, that it is never too late to become more. Those children carry that lesson not because of what they are told, but because of what they have seen. The parents' belief becomes their inheritance. Or consider someone fighting their way back from addiction, choosing each day to believe they are worthy of another chance. Their resilience becomes a light to others who feel trapped in despair. One person's belief becomes another's proof that transformation is possible. This ripple effect exists in even the smallest of acts. When you walk into a room believing in your own worth, you don't need to announce it. The energy itself changes. People feel it. They see it in your posture, hear it in your voice, sense it in your willingness to listen and speak with authenticity. That silent presence encourages others to step into their own worth. Belief then becomes a form of service, a gift you give not only to yourself but to the community around you. The opposite is also true. When you abandon belief in yourself, when you shrink under the weight of doubt, others learn from that as well. Children learn not from our words, but from our actions. If they see us constantly doubting, constantly surrendering to fear, they begin to believe that life is meant to be lived small. But when they see us try, fail, and still rise, they learn that courage is stronger than fear. You may think your choices are your own, but they are always teaching someone else what is possible. There is research in psychology that affirms this ripple effect. Studies have shown that human beings are deeply influenced by emotional contagion, the way feelings spread unconsciously between people. When you carry belief in yourself, it becomes contagious. It lifts the spirits of those around you without you even knowing it. Think about the leaders, teachers, or friends who left an impact on you. They may not have given you wealth or resources, but they gave you something more powerful, the example of believing in their own strength, and in doing so, they gave you permission to believe in yours. The world desperately needs this ripple, now more than ever. We live in times when discouragement is louder than encouragement, when fear is broadcast daily, and when people are told in countless ways that they are not enough. Against that tide, your choice to believe in yourself becomes an act of resistance. It says, I will not be diminished. I will not pass down despair. I will show what is possible, and by living in that truth, I will give others the courage to do the same. So the next time you hesitate, thinking belief in yourself is a selfish act, remember the countless eyes watching, the countless hearts waiting for a sign that it can be done. Remember Malala, who carried her belief into the world and changed it. Remember the parent who inspires their children, the fighter who shows redemption is real, the leader whose confidence lifts an entire team. Your belief is never just your own. It is the spark that lights a fire in others, a force that outlives you and continues long after your own journey is complete. Believing in yourself is not about building a fortress where nothing can hurt you. It is about walking into the world with your heart uncovered, ready to face the voices of doubt, the shadows within, and the weight of other people's expectations, and still saying, I am worthy of this life. It is about standing at the threshold where fear whispers and choosing to step forward anyway. It is about listening to that quiet, persistent whisper inside that tells you your life has meaning, even when no one else seems to hear it. And it is about realizing that every step you take in faith does not end with you. It becomes a signal of possibility for those who are watching, those who need hope, those who are searching for a reason to keep going. You will never be free of doubt. You will never be free of failure. But those are not curses. They are companions that shape you, refine you, and invite you to grow into the person you were always meant to be. The question is not whether the world will believe in you. The world's opinion shifts like sand in the wind. The question is whether you will choose to believe in yourself, even in the silence, even in the storm, even when the road ahead feels uncertain. Because once you do, once you choose that belief, you will find that doors open, strength rises, and light begins to break through where you once saw only darkness. So, hold to that belief. Guard it, nurture it, not just for your own sake, but for the lives you will touch, the hearts you will inspire, and the generations who will one day look back and say, it was your courage that gave them the courage to believe in themselves too.